could this be the beginning of the turnaround? Could this be the sliding doors moment? You look at going up against 17th place Brentford next in the league. Then after that, a favourable, inverted quotes, game against Sunderland at home going into international break, which would be, if we did do that, even in the Brentford game, we're then going into territory that we haven't done before under Ruben Amorim. Back-to-back games, let alone maybe 3 games in a row if we dare to dream.
Yeah.
So is that fair to say that would be, a start of a turnaround?
It's definitely a positive, and it's definitely a progression. Like I said, like you mentioned it last week, it was really easy to catastrophise after 4 league games, especially with the manner of that Manchester City defeat. But 4 league games, and now we're at 5, and we played Chelsea, and we played Arsenal, we played Manchester City, and we've got 2 wins and a draw in there. All of a sudden, it doesn't seem as bad as it would last week, and that's just football. Let's say we win the next 3 games, right? Let's say we do that. We're not back. Manchester United aren't back. So, yes, it's progression and yes, it's a positive, but there's still going to be up and downs in a season where, let's be honest, he's still developing this system, his philosophies and establishing a foundation. So it would be fantastic. And I mean, with the Chelsea game in isolation, if you'd have offered me 3 points before the game, I wouldn't have said, how do we get them? I'd have said, yes, let's do 3 points. I want it. Yeah, I don't care. So it's good in that respect, but we do have to be realistic that they were down to 10 men when we scored both of those goals, and when it was all square on the field, Chelsea won that second half 1-0. When we had the same amount of people on the field. So there's takings that you can take, and we're happy we got the 3 points, and we're still creating loads of chances. But I really am looking at this early kickoff on Saturday against Brentford as right. Okay, now we've got a little bit of momentum and a bit of bragging rights against Chelsea. Now, what can we do? So I think that game is more important than the Chelsea result. But 3 points is 3 points, man.
Yeah, I mean, we've been here before, haven't we, Crookie? And the reason why we've been here before is because we still haven't won back-to-back games under Ruben Amorim. That's something that is this thing we always keep talking about. It's so normal for every other, decent team to win 2 games in a row. It's not a big ask, is it? Win a couple of games in a row. But we struggle to do that. And it's about trying to move on from that point, isn't it? To put a run of games together, to show some form of consistency so we can start moving away from the negativity. Does it feel to you that this could be that time? When you look at those next 2 games, is it I say a given, but is it an absolute must that Man United, they have to be getting 6 points? They have to be.
Yeah, they do. No question about that in my mind. And as you say, back-to-back wins have been hard to come by. Just ask the fella who hasn't cut his hair. I mean, he's looking for 5 victories in a row. We'd all take 2 or 3 at this moment. We're going to be speaking
to him a little bit later in the show as well. If his hair will fit in the box, in the screen.
And it isn't a massive surprise that United have performed better against Chelsea. And I sort of agree with Angelina. The reason that Chelsea was so shell-shocked and making those mistakes early on was because we did come out the traps quickly. But that's what we tend to do in the big games. Even in the Manchester derby in that first half, it wasn't a terrible performance. This is a group of players who tend to reserve their better displays against the top opposition, decent against Arsenal on the opening day as well. There's countless examples of matches against the so-called Big Six where United have turned up, and countless examples in games where you think they're going to put on in a performance that they haven't. So I think it's a test of the new players, the new mentality that Amorim is trying to instill in the dressing room, how they back this up or don't against Brentford next weekend. I did see a stat, actually. I feel like I'm nicking Ryan's job here. but statistically, United have had the most difficult set of fixtures at the start of the season of any team in the Premier League.
Yeah.
They're still right up there in terms of XG. So I think if you're looking for reasons to back the manager and the board don't want to make a change, then the numbers are there to back up that actually progress is being made.
That's an interesting one about this progress situation, Andrew, actually, because I've seen the stats like Crookie's alluding to, and people sort of suggesting, look, as it stands, I think we're level on points with Man City. We're a point behind Chelsea, I believe, and maybe a couple of our Arsenal.
We were actually 10th at one point. How exciting was that?
Exactly, record highs, right? Record highs. But when you contextualise it, how early it is in the season, is there grounds to be more positive? And like we're saying, when Ryan was here last week saying, guys, listen, let's calm down. When there's a lot of fans saying you can't be getting rid of the manager yet, you can't be, questioning him now. Just calm down. We're really early in the season. We can still stabilise. Is this what we're seeing?
Yeah, and I tend to agree that we do need to let this play out a little bit longer, because you know, you faced Arsenal, City and Chelsea in the first couple of games. Like, that is a lot. And I think, like I said last week, the Arsenal game was close and we walked away from that feeling like at least it was a good performance. Obviously, the Fulham game as well, you know, I think that was a little bit unlucky. And, you know, you also look ahead, you know, we've got Liverpool coming up, and as much as, you know, they have got so much talent and they look amazing on paper, I don't think they've been that convincing, if I'm being completely honest. I think that they've been very lucky in some senses, you know, beating Newcastle, who were down to 10 players. The Burnley situation was thanks to one of our former players, Hannibal, had it not been that. So, listen, I'm not saying that Man United are going to come out and beat Liverpool 3-0 or something like that, but you know, you look at last season and how we managed to get something and put in a good performance. You look at the way that they've been, you know, they're there for the taking a little bit, in my opinion. Obviously, we've still got a couple of games before we face them, and maybe things will start to click with them a little bit more. But I just think overall, we have to, you know, take a breath, look at things from maybe a different perspective now, in that we've had, you know, the Fulham game, we started really strong. The Arsenal game, I think we started quite well. This game, we started well. It's just about building now. And, you know, you can talk about how United are winning games. You can say that, you know, like what I alluded to earlier, that maybe Enzo Maresca kind of helped us out with some of his panic decisions in that game. But we're getting wins. Well, we've got to win.
That's what I'm saying. We've got a win. This is what we've got to remember. It's one.
That is the main thing, though. It is a win. It's a starting point, and you've just got to get the wins, no matter which way you get them, and that's got to be the focus. And I think Amorim touched on it by saying, you know, this is great, but we need to focus now, and we need to continue being more aggressive, and we need to focus on how we're going to win this next game and keep this momentum going. So we have been burnt before, but I do think that performance was far better than any of us expected on Saturday.
Yeah. For me, I'm there. We can't really be trying to look too far forward at, you know, this game, that game. Tell you what, it's a sliding doors moment. It's this, it's that. No, we're fast approaching a year under Ruben Amorim, and we're still talking about trying to win 2 consecutive games in a row. So that shows me that we shouldn't be really having any conversations about past Brentford. It is about just win at all costs.
Yeah.
You can talk about the style, you can talk about the situations that's been going on with Ruben and this, that, and the other, but you have to win football matches. And I'm not gonna see one win against Chelsea and all of a sudden now we're back and we're great and it's this, that and the other. Absolutely not. This team has showed us time and time again that is not the case. So we have no evidence. We have zero evidence to base anything off that we're now going to go on a run. I hope we do. I'm feeling kind of confident for Brentford, but I've done that before.